Hey guys, Cooper Cubes here. Today is going to be a video on my cubing history, what I've done in the past, what I'm busy doing, and what my goals are for the cubing future. I've still got a lot of improvements I can make and exciting things I want to try. But before we get into that, I'm going to unbox this. You saw it at the end of the last video, and well, I won't spoil anything more than that. Let's get into it. Damn, this is really packaged well. It is extremely strong. Why is there so much packaging? Ooh, there it is. Ooh, that is exciting. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is so cool. Wow. So this is a mat from Qi, which is the same brand as all of the non-cube shapes that I've been opening recently. They're a cool brand. I like them. They don't have amazing speed cubes. It's interesting they show the Vulk on here. The Vulk is a really good cube. Not sure if it's a cube from their line. If it is, then that's very impressive. So this is Chinese for Morfang. Morfang is the Chinese name for Rubik's Cube. It means magic cube. This is very cool. I like black. I like plain stuff. It's soft. It's made out of, I'm not sure if you guys know what a wetsuit is. People go diving in them or surfing in them. It feels like that kind of like rubbery material. Very, very nice. All right, so I'm going to be using this mat in some solves now and testing it out. So I hope you enjoy the video. This is the new camera angle I'm going to be using when I record tutorial videos. The black really frames the cube well and makes the colors really pop and stand out very nicely. So I started cubing around 4 years ago, just before the start of COVID. As most of you know, improvement at the beginning is very easy, so I got better at beginner's method and eventually switched to CFOP. I got my average down to around 40 seconds, and at the time I was really enjoying it. I had a PR of 26 seconds, but it was an extremely lucky solve. If I remember correctly, I got an entire last layer skip, plus I had an easy cross in first pair. My more normal PR was only 33 seconds. In 2020, I taught one of my friends how to cube and it went pretty well, so I thought I would start a cubing club at my university. My girlfriend made posters and I put them up around campus and invited my friends. I got around 7 members, most of them being people who had never solved before but that wanted to learn, and we'd meet up around once a week and I'd teach them how to cube. We also had one guy who was extremely fast, at least for me at the time. He averaged around, I want to say 20 seconds, but that doesn't sound so fast to me anymore, but I think at the time that was very fast. Anyway, I tried learning some stuff from him, but he wasn't very sociable, and I think he was more there to show off his speed and his cube collection, which was fine. It was nice to meet other people with a hobby. After about 2 months of this, COVID happened and we couldn't meet up anymore, and by the time we would return to campus, I had moved on from cubing, because I have a lot of different hobbies like gaming and sports, and I tend to switch hobbies a lot, so I ended up switching to a different hobby. Fast forward to around April 2023, and for some reason I decided to start cubing again. I wanted to see how much I had lost in my time away, and to my surprise, I still averaged around 45 seconds, so I had barely lost anything. I think this also made me realize how little I had practiced CFOP to actually improve, and instead I had just been doing souls for fun, which is also fine. But now I had turned over a new leaf, and I had started to do much more focused training sessions. I'll have a separate video detailing how I practice every day, what exercises I do, so look out for that. JPerm's YouTube channel is a treasure trove of information, and it's where I learned most of what I know. My focus was on learning to improve my F2L as much as possible, as I knew this is the step that takes the longest to learn and is the hardest to improve. However, it's very hard to see tangible results from F2L training. Once you have learned the most optimum pair and insert algorithms, most of which I already knew from intuitive F2L, you aren't learning anything specific. Instead, I was mostly focused on improving look ahead and reducing cube rotations. This was a little demotivating as I didn't feel myself improving, at least not at first. So I also started to learn full PLL. I already knew 2-look PLL, and there aren't that many more formulas for 1-look PLL, so fairly quickly I knew them all and was using them regularly. This gave me a big boost in motivation, as not only could I see tangible evidence of what I had learned, but also my times improved almost immediately to around 40 seconds again, and I started to average just under 40. I continued practicing F2L and learning cube theory. I probably learned a bit too much theory and didn't do enough practice, but that is how I enjoy learning things, so I'm not faulting myself for it. Plus, I didn't get into any bad habits as I watched a lot of example souls and took note of other people's bad habits or things that they said to watch out for. At the time, I was using the YJ Yulong V2M. A friend had bought it as a gift for me when he was in China, and he said it was the cheapest magnetic cube he could find. It was a fun cube, and I look back on it with fondness as it was my first magnetic cube, which was obviously a big upgrade. But I wouldn't recommend it now as it came out in 2019, so it is a bit of an old cube, and an infamous cube was released the following year. More on that later. After lots of practice, I was really getting back into my cubing and enjoying it a lot. I started to learn full OLL, and I'm still busy with this. It's a long process as there are a lot of algorithms and they don't come up as often as the PLL ones. I also limit myself as I enjoy learning new algorithms, but I know the main part of my solve that still needs to improve is my F2L and actually my cross. I didn't realize how bad my cross was until much later, around July of that year. I struggled to motivate myself to practice it as often after doing the cross I would go straight into solving, which reduces the focus of my practicing. This was around the time of my birthday, and because I was so into cubing, my parents agreed to mostly get me cubing related presents. They bought me a Qi timer, which really helped to motivate me because now my souls felt more professional. They also got me some lube, a fully black cube with some stickers, which I built into a cross practice cube, which ended up helping me with my cross practice a lot. I'll explain more about that in my practice video. I had done a bunch of research as my cube was getting quite old, and so they also got me the infamous MoU RS3M 2020. Now, I did get the maglev version, which was amazing. The difference between the two cubes was insane. The RS3M definitely lives up to all the hype around it, and absolutely incredible cube, and for a really cheap price as well, and I can't recommend it enough. This also really motivated me, and I started cubing probably about 2 hours on most days. I did eventually start seeing improvements, and my average got down to around 35 seconds, and that was when I finally beat my lucky PB of 26. That August, I got my first sub 25 ever in my cubing career, and there were no skips, it was just an efficient, fast solve. This set my motivation on fire, as my lucky 26-second average had been haunting me, and I sometimes thought that I might never beat it. It was around this time that I left to go on an exchange study trip to China. This was an awesome opportunity, but because I didn't have access to most of my other hobbies, I started to cube. A lot. Every day I would be putting in 2 hours minimum, and that was a mix of focused practice and solving. I started to see massive improvements as all of my look ahead practice was finally starting to pay off. I broke my PR again and again, and in 1 month, my average fell from 35 seconds to 30 to 28. Because I know so much cube theory now, more than my practice, my PRs fell much faster than my average, and towards the end of September, I broke the 20-second mark, which currently feels like my greatest cubing achievement. I was particularly proud of this, as this was the first time I had reduced my PR below a 10-second mark since I had first started cubing back in 2019. I have a reconstruction of the solve which I'll post soon. Because I am in China, I took a risk and contacted MoYu as they are based here. I explained who I was, that I was studying Chinese, and that I would love to spread the word about how great I think their cubes are, and if it would be possible for them to send me a cube to review and use. They very graciously agreed, and they sent me their new RS3 MV5, which, at the time I got it, had been out for less than a month. This cube is incredible. You can see a review of it on my channel. It has maglev ball core as well as UV coating technology. It is extremely light and effortless to turn, and it's instantly become my new main. I currently average around 26 seconds, with my PB single being 15.8. My goals at the moment are to consistently average 25 seconds, as well as to be able to solve on both white and yellow cross equally. Currently, my yellow cross solves can be a bit dicey. Other than that, I want to keep improving. I've learned 40 of the OLL algorithms. However, I know full OLL is just a matter of time, so I'm not rushing it. I desperately want to go to a competition. I've never been to one, and I believe I'm finally reaching the level where I would be able to enjoy going to it and not just stress all the time. I also want to start building a WCA profile with different times and PRs. In terms of other events, I have no thoughts on it at the moment. I can solve a 2x2 and a Pyraminx, as well as some shifters like the Mirror Cubes, Master Morphics, and Axis Cube. However, I enjoy them as thinking puzzles rather than speed events. I'm currently learning how to solve one-handed. I'm able to solve it, but not very quickly. And on the plane flight to China, I learned how to blindfolded solve. I still haven't fully solved a cube blindfolded yet, and that's definitely a goal at some point, but I'm not currently working towards that. Other than that, I want to keep making content and having fun while improving. With that being said, stay tuned for my practice breakdown video, as well as some other things I have planned. Thanks for hanging out, stay safe, and stay proud of yourself.